Hey guys, hope you guys are doing really well. So this week we're going to be talking about graduating students and what exactly goes through the mind of an instructor, and what process we go through deciding on which students get promoted versus which ones we kind of hold back a little bit longer. So what kind of brought this topic to mind was I was recently a part of some graduations, some belt graduations earlier this week. We had a few students go from white to blue belt, and then some blue belts go to purple belt. And I just thought it was really interesting, just the days leading up until the belt ceremony, the belt graduation, just like the process that went into that day, the belt celebration, graduation. So I've never really seen anything about this anywhere, but I've been very fortunate to be a part of like these conversations, these backroom conversations that instructors at every academy have. They have these conversations everywhere. So I've been very fortunate to be a part of them. Um, so I think a lot of people don't realize like how much thought goes into, deciding whether or not to promote someone. Of course, every academy is different. Some academies, maybe they award belts really fast, very quickly. Some schools, like, man, it seems like they never award any belts, and you gotta train like for a long time before you progress. So I think before I really get into that, it's important that I just kind of want to touch on the fact that it's important that the belt is a motivation tool, um, and and it can be used, positively or negatively. But it's the whole purpose of the belt system is to just motivate students to stick through the process of training up until the point where they no longer worry about the belt system. So jujitsu and all the other grappling sports, grappling arts, wrestling and judo, like they're all very tough. And you get beaten down, you get worn down physically and also mentally. And that ego just gets crushed, just smashed. So it's just important that we have that belt system to keep motivating people, keep training and pushing through. But the belts themselves should never be, the end all be all. Like you shouldn't be training jiu-jitsu if you just want to get your blue belt or if you want to get your purple belt. That's not going to be enough to get you through those highs and lows that you're going to experience throughout your training. So I just want to touch base on that. I know a lot of people, they want to get that next belt, and that's really great. But what's more important is getting the skills and of that, obtaining the skills and the ability to perform and train hard and do well. So that's really important. And my favorite quote, I'm not sure if it's by Hoist Gracie or somebody else, but it just says that your belt only covers 2 inches of your ass, man, and that's true. That's so true. That belt, it doesn't really matter. Internally it matters, but externally it doesn't change who you are. It won't change the skills that you worked hard to obtain. It's not gonna make you better or worse. It's just a representation of where you're currently at in your journey. Okay. So back to the belt testing. So graduating to the next belt, the next level is something that it takes time. It takes time. There's no way to rush it. In fact, the worst thing you can do is go, ask your instructor, "Hey, I'm ready for my next belt. Can I get it?" So in jiu-jitsu, that's the worst thing you can do is ask to get a belt, because man, instructors, we take that stuff personally. It's like, man, this guy's asking to get a belt. I'm gonna make him wait another year. So guys, never ask to get your belt. You just have to really just believe in your instructors, believe in their judgment, and when they feel that you're ready and that you've obtained the proper skill level and you can perform the moves and techniques that they deem fit, pretty consistently, that's when you're going to get your next belt. And you really don't want to worry about the belt. You want to worry about the skills. The skills. That's what's really important. Um, so your instructors, they're going to look at how you're training in the academy, like how, your techniques. Are you using technique, or are you using a lot of power? They're going to see how you train with your peers on the same belt level. Like, are you doing well with those guys, or are you getting your butt kicked still? Well, you might not get promoted then. Um, are you able to give the higher belts like a hard time? And you don't have to submit them, but you need to give them a hard time. Being able to defend really well, recompose, and maybe even attack. How do you roll with lower belts? Are you able to not just use power on someone less skilled than yourself, and still do really well? Or are you able to use technique and do properly? So those are really big things that I look for personally. It's like, how's this person training? Okay, so that's only one part of the equation. I think the second part that a lot of people kind of miss out on is just like how how you are as a person. Is this person a good person? Does he exhibit the qualities of a martial artist? Is he, he's not going out partying and getting drunk and posting on Facebook, or doing like just crazy stuff? Is this person a good representative of our academy? Um, is this person, does he get along with everyone in the academy, or does everyone hate him or her, and no one wants to roll with them? Um, so not only do you need to have the skills backing you up, you need to be like a good person, outside of the academy too, because at the end of the day, you're a representative of your academy. So you could be like the best guy, but if you're an asshole to everyone, maybe it's going to take you longer to progress. So that's something I think a lot of people miss out on. They think, hey, I'm just going to drill and be really good, but they don't internalize the other stuff from jujitsu, like being able to set your ego aside, being humble in your training, and being able to take care of your training partners, not not injure them. It's really important. Being able to take losing, like when you're training, you're gonna lose, you're gonna get tapped out, especially in the beginning. How do you handle those situations? Do you like hit the mat in frustration when you get tapped out, or do you just tap out and then just keep training? So you got to realize that your instructors, they're always watching you. They're watching you when you're training, watching you at the tournament. They're stalking you on Facebook and social media. So that all those things make the picture. They create the picture of who you are as a person, and whether or not you're ready to get promoted. And of course, everyone's an individual, so some people might have different goals. If someone's younger, and they have the goal of competing and doing well, the standard that they're going to be held to is going to be different than someone that's older and has a family and just trains for recreationally. Um, so and that there's so many different variations on that. Sometimes students will get held back because the instructor wants them to do well, so it might be better for them to build confidence at a lower belt before going to a higher belt. Or sometimes the person they're competing really well, and it's like, hey man, this kid needs to go up to the next level because he's doing so well at this level. He needs to be pushed harder. So your instructor is always going to be looking at those factors, and it's not an easy call. Sometimes you might sometimes an instructor might promote someone pretty quickly, and the person themselves might not feel ready. So they're going to have to spend even more time at the next belt growing into that belt. While other times someone might be like, man, this person's been way overdue for the next belt. So it just depends on the situation. Again, you got to look at the whole picture. Look at how you're training. Look at how you are as a person outside of the academy. Or it's just, there's so many factors. And I think one big thing that I've noticed from a lot of instructors is that they get a lot of feedback from their other instructors within their academy, as well as other higher belts. So a lot of times they won't just Well, sometimes they will just make a executive decision, but a lot of times they'll go around and, hey man, do you think so and so should get promoted? And then they'll kind of debate, and then they'll go to someone else and, man, I'm thinking about promoting so and so. Do you think they're ready? Should I hold them back? Maybe he wants to compete, so he needs to wait a little bit longer before, and gain more confidence before he moves up. Um, so there's a lot of, backroom talks that happens before the person gets promoted. And I just think it's really interesting, like what goes on behind the scenes. And this goes for pretty much every level. I've seen it. I've seen it happen at, white, blue, purple, and brown and black. So instructors really do put a lot of effort into their promotions. And at the end of the day, again, you're representative. Your students are a representative of your academy. So you want to promote the highest quality students that you can, because you never know when you might have, someone go travel and they're wearing your patch and they're representing you. You want them to do really well, in a tournament, or if they're traveling to in another country and training at an academy. You want them to do well and get a good representative. But again, you want them to be, good on the mat and off of the mat too. So there's just so much that goes on behind just those graduations. It's never straightforward. It's never like, hey, this is going to be easy. Usually there's a lot of back and forth in the graduations. And, that big day it's for me, it's, I've gone through all the belts. So for me, looking back at, people getting, their blue belt or their purple belt, it's just really, really exciting, just because I get to kind of relive like when I got my belts, and, kind of like all the, not really insecurities that I had at the time, but just like where I was in my life at the time when I got my blue belt, still being in high school or starting college or something. And so I'm, just really proud to see people get promoted and just to be a part of those celebrations, because it really is a celebration. And most students I've been involved with, it's been a pleasure just watching them grow, and just getting that next belt. It's just it just validates all their hard work that they put in, and it just shows that the instructor has been with them that whole time. And even though we might not talk about all their sacrifice they've had to endure and all the hard work they put into it, when you get the when the student takes that belt off and you get the wrap that new belt around them, man, it's so special. So yeah, guys, belt graduation's a big topic in jiu-jitsu. Hopefully we can continue to keep pushing the standard higher in jiu-jitsu, not awarding just belts just because someone pays money, but rewarding people for their hard work and their effort. It's really important. We just to keep maintaining that level of excellency that we have in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, because in Jiu-Jitsu you gotta work. There is no way to cheat the system, because you're always gonna have to train. You're always gonna have to prove yourself on the mat. You're always gonna have to roll. You can't just be like, hey, I got my new belt, I'm gonna sit out now, I'm good. You always gotta push yourself outside that comfort zone. So I think that really keeps jiu-jitsu honest, and I really look forward to being a part of more graduations. All right, guys, till my next video. Peace.